Hi everyone, this is Veronica. Today we are going to talk about 28th Indo-Thai CORPAT. So we'll discuss about this in detail about this exercise. For queries, you can connect with me on Instagram and Facebook because I feel together we can make a difference. Now see what is the relevance of this topic in your exams. Mains paper 3, it would be asked under various security forces, agencies, their mandates. At objective level, so you should be clear about this exercise, and at subjective level you should know about UNCLOS naval exercises also. So in what context today we are studying this 28th edition of India-Thailand coordinated patrol, which is known as Indo-Thai CORPAT. So it is happening between Indian Navy and Royal Thai Navy. It was conducted from 5th September to 15th September this year. So talking about this exercise, Indian Navy has been participating in biannual. So every year it is biannually. This exercise happens. This coordinated patrol that is known as CORPAT with the Royal Thai Navy. So it is happening since 2003. The objectives of Indo-Thai CORPAT are to ensure effective implementation of UNCLOS. UNCLOS is your United Nations Conventions on Laws of the Sea. So UNCLOS has specific regulations regarding the protection and conservation of natural resources. This is the one. Another is conservation of marine environment. Then prevention and suppression of illegal or unregulated fishing activities, drug trafficking, piracy, exchange of information in prevention of smuggling, illegal immigration, and conduct of search and rescue operations at sea. So such exercises happen for such goals and objectives. Now talking about what is UNCLOS, that is United Nations Conventions on Laws of the Sea. See, this convention is also sometimes referred to as Law of the Sea Convention or Law of the Sea Treaty. It basically defines the rights and responsibilities of nations with respect to their use of the world's ocean, where they establish guidelines for businesses, the environment, the management of marine natural resources. Now they came into operation and became effective from 16th November 1982 when it was adopted for the first time, and before the nautical law of UNCLOS came into force, there used to exist a school of thought which was known as freedom of the seas. Earlier it was there. So this doctrine had first come into operation before that, and as per this law there were no limits or boundaries set to the aspect of marine business and commercial activities. There was over-exploitation of the sea's resources, which was immensely felt during the middle of 20th century, and then many nations came together. They started feeling that there's a need to ensure protection of their marine resources. So features, there are various features of UNCLOS also. Here in this picture you can say they says about the continental shelf. They talk about exclusive economic zones. Then this continental shelf, here the sovereign rights for exploring and exploiting non-living resources of seabed and subsoil. In EEZ, that is exclusive economic zone, where sovereign rights for exploring, exploiting, conserving and managing living and non-living resources of the seabed and subsoil. So here we can talk in detail about this. See, talking about the internal waters. So here you can see internal waters. These refers to all water and waterways on the landward side of the baseline of the country. So this is the baseline of the country. So in internal waters, a country is actually free to set laws, regulate its use and use of its resources, and there is no interference of the foreign countries. So here we are talking about internal waters. Then there is your territorial waters, that are 12 nautical miles from your baseline, right? Then in this area, the countries are free to set laws, regulate use and also use resources. However, if we talk about foreign vessels, they are not given all rights to passage through, except there are some innocent passage. So here the word is innocent passage sometimes is allowed after proper permissions, and the innocent passage, what I mean by it refers to the passing through the waters which is not prejudicial to peace and security, and however the nations have right to suspend the innocent passage. And the submarine, while passing through other countries' territorial waters, they have to navigate on the surface and they have to show their flags. This is for the submarines. Submarines, they are usually underwater, but when they are passing through territorial waters of other countries, they have to sail through surface and show their flag. Next is your contiguous zone. So this zone refers to the area that is 12 nautical miles from the territorial waters, and that means it is 24 nautical miles from the baseline. It is the zone where the country can enforce laws only in 4 areas. So these 4 areas for contiguous zone where we can make laws, a country can make laws, is on pollution, taxation, then your customs and immigration. Then we will talk about EEZ, that is your exclusive economic zone. It refers to the area from the edge of the territorial sea out to 200 nautical miles from the baseline. So in this area, the country has sole exploitation rights over all the natural resources, and the most important reason to introduce EEZ was to halt the clashes over the fishing rights and the oil rights, because in the EEZ the foreign vessels actually they have freedom of navigation and even the overflight subject to regulation of the coastal states, and foreign states are allowed to lay submarine pipes and cables through your EEZ. So here you understand about this terminology: internal waters, territorial waters, contiguous zone and exclusive economic zone. This from prelim point of view, it is very important. So now we will analyze, our analysis will be a serial of bilateral exercises with regional navies in Indian Ocean have demonstrated Indian Navy's resolve to preserve operational leverage in India's near seas. So there are a lot of naval exercises which keep on holding. This one is one of them. Now we'll talk about what are the reasons for these numerous exercises. First is China's increasing naval footprint. Like for many, the trigger for India's newfound zeal, actually this kind of exercises are newfound zeal for India at sea, is a rapid expansion of China's naval footprint in the Indian Ocean, because China is showing much activity in the Indian Ocean. Then the military outposts of the China. Beyond the commercial investments in Pakistan and Sri Lanka, as you all know, China has also established a military outpost in Djibouti, that is a key link in Beijing's Belt and Road Initiative. Then there is a base for non-peacekeeping missions also. There are reports which suggest that PLA, that is People's Liberation Army of China, they are planning an expansion of its logistics base for non-peacekeeping. So it is non-peacekeeping, that is always that almost means it is military mission. So it raises possibility of an operational overlap with Indian Navy's areas of interest. So that is why now India also is showing interest in such exercises. Next is your South Asian navies increasing presence, because meanwhile South Asian navies have been making their presence felt in the seas of the subcontinent. In a quest of regional prominence, Sri Lanka has positioned itself as a facilitator of joint regional endeavors, and they have expanded their engagement with Pacific powers, which includes Royal Australian Navy and US Navy. And with China's assistance, even Pakistan too is becoming an increasingly potent actor in the northern Indian Ocean, which is a key region of India's interest. So you can understand from here that India has to worry for these things. And looking for the partnership means, widely if we acknowledge as the most capable regional maritime force, our Indian Navy has played a prominent role in fighting against non-traditional challenges in the Indian Ocean. While we have contributed in counter-piracy mission off the coast to Somalia, humanitarian assistance and disaster relief, even if you have seen including the cyclone hit Mozambique, it has been substantial. Therefore, we also want to seek partners who are willing to invest resources in joint security endeavors. And then your African focus. Chinese investment in port infrastructure in Kenya, Sudan, Tanzania and Mozambique, it has grown at a steady pace. Even as a plan has sought to expand its presence in the Western Indian Ocean, In response, what India is doing? India has moved to deepen its own regional engagement, seeking naval logistical access to French bases in Reunion also, where the second phase of Varuna will be held later this month. We are hoping that, right? So even it has held a various time, but more exercises will take place. So to conclude this, there is a defensive stand as we see, yet India's Indian Ocean focus makes more for a essentially defensive posture. But usually there are no strategic gains, notwithstanding improvements in bilateral and trilateral naval engagement. It hasn't actually succeeded in leveraging partnerships for strategic gains. But there is a thing called power equation, which we are saying that China is being favored. With India's political leadership, which is actually very reluctant to militarize the quadrilateral grouping or to expand naval operations in Western Pacific, the power equation with China remains skewed in favor of the China only. But only risk management approach which India has for all its rhetoric surrounding the free and open Indo-Pacific, New Delhi is yet to take a stand on rules-based order in littoral Asia. So, wariness of sustained operation in China's Pacific backyard has actually rendered the Indian Navy regional strategy a mere risk management tactic with limited approach to shape events in littoral Asia. So, in way forward, we can say our political leadership should be ready to take military and security as a major thing for such exercises to improve the bilateral relations with other countries also, and also as a drill to tackle any kind of security threat, right? So this is all about today's lecture. Thank you. So this is a channel StudyIQ. If you're preparing for UPSC or any government exam, our pen drive and tablet courses are available. If you're preparing for UPSC CSE 2020, our pen drive course is available, where you can find 100% coverage of UPSC vast syllabus. Daily current affair updates will be available. Self-paced learning process is provided. This course has been prepared by top faculties of StudyIQ, and now you can purchase this course at Rs 625 per month only. For additional information, you can visit our site, and there are the phone numbers also given. You can call them and gain the additional information. You can connect with me for my video updates on Instagram and Facebook, because I feel together we can make a huge difference. For queries, you can even email me. Thank you so much.